over half my high school career, I was loyal to just three things: the school video game club, my comic book illustrations, and of course, HHS In Depth. HHS In Depth was a weekly school news program that explored everything the school had to offer, from small things like the lost and found and new teachers, to major things like athletics and musical arts. If you wanted to learn more about the school without having to be involved, this was the place to be.
HHS In-Depth reporter Roland McMillan brings you a story that hopefully gives a clear answer to those questions.
When I first joined HHS In Depth, it was going through a transitional period. Since the prior year, it seemed more like a sitcom rather than the professional school version of CNN it was meant to be. And the show they submitted to the annual IASB show only got into the honorable mention compared to previous years. Unlike most kids, I liked the old ones. They brought me back to a time where they really wanted to have fun and be open. But by the time I came on, changes had to be made. I became overwhelmed that these changes restricted the creativity that could be used to make a great segment. But some changes to the show weren't bad at all, like the 40-second anchor announcements or the polished graphics. But some stuff, in my opinion, felt like they could have stayed.
Bruh.
Like the intro sitcom style headshots and the funny sketches during the weather, the sports, and some other segments that were seen on very special episodes. Since more and more guidelines were introduced, I felt like the chances of putting a creative touch on my work was little to none. But being an artist, I took my metaphorical paintbrush and jumped every hurdle by putting as much creativity as possible. In an unused section of a senior end-of-year interview, I said that you don't need to be smart, you don't need to be confident, you don't even need to be a good speaker. All you really need is just a little bit of creativity and imagination. I was praised for my voiceovers, and I think my comic strips benefited really well in that regard. I mentioned in class that I wrote the scripts myself, but how I did it was not hard at all. I will say to anybody that if they want their feature to sound just like mine, is that they will want to write out their version of a script, but before going in to record a voiceover, they should stop and reword it. For example, instead of Homestead teaches kids many subjects, they could say, Homestead lectures many kids over an entire library of courses, or Homestead educates students with more subjects than one could imagine. Using fancier synonyms, relevant metaphors, and word enhancers can make any script stand out. To conclude, HHS In Depth had, and still has, creative, confident, and ambitious students that work together to create a show that takes kids through many experiences that they probably never thought possible. HHS In Depth has changed so much since I first became a reporter, and by the time I left, HHS In Depth felt like an entirely different show, starting off by having the vibe of a laid-back sitcom to later become the serious, local news feeling it is notorious for today. I learned so much within those 2 years that I could literally write a book about it, from getting correct interview angles to learning how to clear my audio and combine them all together into one very outstanding segment. Everything the director, the assistant director, along with all of my friends have said to me has and will always mean a lot to me. And thanks to this, I can continue my passions in video production as both a little spare time hobby and a big full-time career. Thanks a lot, Homestead. You've helped me become the person I am today. Anyways, this has been Roland McMillan reporting for HHS in depth.
Let's watch the Spartans on TV. They got some great basketball going on. Make sure you're watching HHS Live, Homestead Live, and follow the Spartans wherever they go.
Okay, I think that's good.
Which had nothing to do with the other thing. You should have seen Roland's eyes like, what the heck is he talking about?
Thank you so much for watching.